back to another episode of the Peterson Odyssey. I'm Megan.
I'm Darryl.
And we are in the process of starting to convert a van into a camper van. And we had a really good reason that we wanted to do this, because pretty much we love travelling and can't kind of travel at the moment.
Naughty COVID.
Yeah, naughty COVID indeed. So what we thought we would do is take you through a couple of videos explaining our decision making, how we got to the point of thinking the only option for us is to convert a van. I'm not sure if you can tell by our accents, but we're from New Zealand, so kia ora, and we wanted to take you through what it's like to try and get your hands on a home on wheels right here at what some people consider as the bottom of the world.
In this video, we're going to go through 5 different choices you could make.
Each of the options we're going to show you, we're going to share the criteria based on 3 things, and as well as give you the price in New Zealand dollars. So the first criteria we're looking at is ease of use. How easy is it to park? How easy is it to drive? How easy is it to navigate around those winding New Zealand roads?
Yeah, the second one is layout. Pretty much speaks for itself. There's going to be the bedroom, the bathroom, how it all feels, how it all flows together.
And the third one that we're going to use as our criteria is storage. Storage of both inside the home on wheels, where you can put your clothes or your stuff or your board games, as well as anywhere that you can put your big items, what we're calling kind of your gear, your snowboard, ski, surfboard, bike, that kind of thing.
It's off the chassis of a Ford Transit, so the cab's fine, but with the size of it, once you're getting into the small spaces, yeah, that I find it would be a problem. Yeah, with that added space, you got 2 reasonably good sized beds, a good kitchen, also had its own dining area, and the bathroom and the shower were a really good size.
We quite like that the shower was a bit separate, so you didn't have to worry about water all over the floor or any of that stuff. It was a really good layout for such a big space.
It had really good storage, massive garage space at the back that can be accessed both from outside on both sides of the van, and also you could even access it from inside the van as well. Ease of use, we find it as
neutral. And layout?
Great.
And third criteria, storage.
We give that great. Heaps of space.
We did wonder about whether by the time you had 4 people in there you'd actually run out of all those cupboard spaces, like with clothes and personal possessions and things like that, but because you can access the storage from inside, we thought it was actually pretty good. And the price in New Zealand dollars?
Yeah, this was $109,000.
Our second motorhome on the list is the Evolve electric motorhome. Heaps and heaps of kind of dead space storage. I don't know what you'd do up here, but I think it's an electric vehicle, and I'm guessing that these are electrical, but that would be good to know. And then we've got overhead cabinets going up to, it feels really flimsy. Nice. But what I like about this one is it's big at the back, it's very boxy. Again, this is your bed, so, but it's a bit more roomy, I think. I'll just have a look up here. I don't know how to open that. We won't have a look up there. But in terms of here, it's pretty big. You've got a really big shower space. It's very wide, which again, if you had 2 people, it's quite comfy.
For ease of use, we give this.
We gave this one a neutral, partly because we think it's much smaller than the family motorhome that we just had a look at, but it's still quite boxy, and it's not short, so you'd still have that same issue with parking and kind of confined spaces. But actually the main reason we gave it neutral is kind of what its selling point is that it's an electric vehicle. In New Zealand, we're getting our heads around more electric charging stations, but we just don't have that many.
It's not many at all.
No, and the range of this vehicle without needing a charge is only 120 k's, so you'd be quite limited, I think, as to where you could go. So great idea, just it's a little ahead of its time.
Right. And layout, we're giving this
a great. I really like the layout of this vehicle. I thought it was, because it's wide, I thought it was nice and spacious. It's clearly only built for 2 people because it's got the bed at the back, and it does have its own shower and bathroom in there, which for us is quite important, hence we're talking about it in our criteria. There was some kind of dead space though, like up above the cab. I have no idea what you'd do with that. But generally, we thought it was quite good. And one of the things I really, really, really liked about it in terms of layout was it was so bright and airy. Like, it was quite modern looking, but also heaps of windows. So yeah, that's why we've given it a great.
For storage, we give this
Neutral. On the surface of things, it looks like there's heaps of storage. There's a lot of upper cabinets that go all the way around the bedding, seating part, and then into the kitchen as well, and there's the storage above the cab. I didn't think those cabinets were very big though in terms of their depth, and then the storage that's in the benches underneath the seating area, they had some of the utilities in there, so the water, it's where you put your water hose and the rubbish bin and things like that. So actually kind of you gobble up a bit of the storage. There was no garage, there was no exterior space where you could put your big gear, so I think it felt more like a kind of city break camper,
yeah,
rather than a get out off the beaten path.
Especially with the range that it has with the EV.
Yeah.
And with this comes with the price of
130,000 New Zealand dollars, which
it's a bit of coin.
It's a bit of coin.
The next option that we have is a ex-rental professionally converted van.
What you got back there, babe?
Sitting area, and would assume that this goes into a bed, whereas it's to sleep. Makeshift. It's not a lagoon swivel, but
it's a swivel table.
But yeah, does that function?
These are interesting that they slant down. How much space is up there? Not much, really.
Yeah.
And the speakers are in it.
Yeah. There's lots of storage.
Lots of storage. And a nice vent.
The shower seems alright too.
Look at this.
Yeah. It's a good open space.
What would you put in here though?
Bigger stuff.
Bigger stuff. Mirror. Oh, that's decent storage. Oh, look at the cup holders.
Ooh.
Wine glasses. And then fridge there.
Yeah.
What's underneath? Just little drawers.
I would assume.
It's shoe storage.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot. I actually kind of like this open shelf thing. As long as nothing came out.
No, that's kind of about right.
All your stuffs. Sink and cooker. Dometic jobby. Tyre kicking. Ease of use.
Great. Being that it's off the chassis of a cargo van, it's used to zipping around. Be it city, be it on the motorway, being it in camping grounds, it can manoeuvre all over the place.
Layout.
We give this a neutral. Reasons for that is that the kitchen felt hodgepodge, bits all over the place. Also as well, the sitting area was also your sleeping area, so you'd have to convert that daily. The only good thing that we felt about it was that the space for the shower and the bathroom was a good space. Yeah.
I think it's the first van conversion camper van that we've seen that had a sink and a shower and the toilet all in the bathroom. So for that reason, that's what's brought up from neutral, because otherwise it would be. And storage.
Also give this a neutral. Though there was lots of internal storage, like your cabinets and for your clothes, the stuff for the kitchen. When it comes to the big stuff, if you were an adventure traveller, if you had a bike or a snowboard or skis, there was no space for that at all. You'd have to have external ports to do that.
And the price for this one?
$78,000.
It's quite cheap. It's not. It's still $78,000, but for what you're getting, even though it's not for us, it's actually quite a good deal. And the Caravan.
Pop out.
Hang on, can you open up that door, darling? We've got a shower. How's the cabinet underneath? We watch TV in bed. Whoa. It's pretty decent size, isn't it?
And then this is how you close it. Just do that.
Yep.
And then
Take me through the kitchen, Lil.
so first is the dishwasher. This is where you do the dishes, the sink.
Yeah.
And then there is some, that's cool, drawers. I think it's where you put the cutlery. Pretty long. There's the oven.
And look at this.
Oh, there's one for like little things, and then there's a big one. Good.
And look. Oh, these are just
Ooh.
set up in here.
And then go eat breakfast in your pajamas, watch sunrise, getting up.
Is that a little... Does that thing pull down? That's kind of cool, right?
And then where's a driving spot?
What do you mean? This is a Caravan. So you have to tow it behind your car.
Then you go to your car.
Ease of use.
We're going to give this one a neutral. One of the things that you've got with a Caravan that you don't with the others is you've got to be able to tow. So you have to have a car that can tow the van, and you have to be good at towing. So for me, I'm out already. The other thing you can do, of course, by having a separate car is you can just pull up to wherever you're going, get yourself set up at a lake or a beach or a camping ground, put down the levelers, and then have the ability to go out in your car and do day trips if you need to. One of the things that we did find out about this Caravan, which we thought was quite cool, just to help with getting it right into situation, is you could have a remote control that you'd use to kind of reverse the Caravan in.
And this will also help getting it onto the tow ball as well.
Oh yeah, some practical stuff there. The thing that I don't like about Caravans is that you're contained in the Caravan, and if something comes up that you need a quick getaway, let's say you're in a shady area, or which ideally you wouldn't be in New Zealand, or you just don't feel comfortable, you actually have to leave the Caravan to get in the car to hook it back up to drive it away. So it doesn't feel that easy to me. Layout's great. The Caravan offers more space than any of the other vehicles that we've looked at, and it's got a couple of features that we think make it more unique than the motorhomes and the converted vans. So the first one is your separate bathroom is quite separate, and the sink is on the outside, which means that you can use those two spaces with more people in there a little bit more fluidly. There is the double bed at the back, and then there's a double bed at the front in that kind of kitchenette space, and you can divide off those two rooms so you can kind of have some privacy, which we thought was really good for layout. And the other one is actually in that dinette area, particularly for a couple where you'd have your bed at the back and the dinette at the front. It was really comfortable, and you weren't feeling cramped like even in that big family motorhome. There wasn't much table, and here there was the mini table that was set up, plus you could bring an extra table in, and those seats were comfortable. So yeah, I absolutely thought the layout was wonderful. If only it had a car attached to it, and then we'd be in.
Storage.
This one we gave it a bad or a sad face. I don't quite know what our word is, but our reasons here were, while there was lots of cupboards on the inside, they were actually quite small. like especially if you were storing your clothes or you wanted to put board games or something like that in here. And the storage underneath the bench seats was really shallow, like it had an opening maybe about that big. So you might be able to slide some camping chairs in, but it's not the same as the lift up benches that we see in other vehicles. The main reason we actually gave it a bad is not really about the storage layout, but it's more to do with the weight of the trailer. So in here, while you have one big wardrobe, what we figured out with reading the trailer information is you could only add an extra 150 kilos onto the weight of the trailer itself.
Also as well, it only had 50-litre water tank, which is not much at all.
Yeah. So by the time you filled up your water and then put your clothes and your food in, you'd actually be overweight, we think, based on our basic maths. And so for that, you're running the risk of getting a fine, which is not good. But also, more importantly, you're running the risk of running out of water or not having enough space to bring your gear because there was no outside garage.
Yeah, it pretty much restricts you just to camping grounds. With 50 litres, yeah, you can just go back to the camping ground again and just fill up, however that goes. But off-grid, you're lucky if you're there for a day. And the price for this was?
$46,000, we think.
And the last option is a custom converted van.
Ease of use.
Great. Because this is already an existing van, everything's there, we're just building on top of it.
Easy to drive, easy to get around, zippy, it'll be great. Layout.
Great. Because this is all custom, you're making it the way that you want it.
Yeah, we've seen lots of really clever use of space and how people have designed their own custom van, and it's almost like every nook and cranny gets accounted for, and that's not what we've seen in the professionally converted vans like the X-Rentals or the rental vans, because that's not the market that they're working towards.
Yeah, that's not their business. Their business is to
churn them out.
Yeah, move people through, not make someone a home.
And the third criterion, storage.
Great. Again, you're doing it yourself. You set the way that you want to have it. The storage is what you define it to be.
For us, we really want to have our big items, what we've been talking about as gear, we want to have those stored inside the van just for safety and security. So for example, bikes, we want to have the bikes in the van, not hanging off the back because they could get stolen. We have seen some vans that in our view aren't great because they don't have that sense of storage. There's a lot of stuff that happens outside the van.
But again, this all goes back to people's individual choices on what they choose, and also their budgets as well.
So speaking of budget, how much does a custom converted van cost?
Very big range. You can go really budget, or you can potentially have a nice little money pit where all your money goes. The choice is yours.
Yeah, so we think in New Zealand you can pick up a second-hand van, probably quite an old one for under 10 grand, and then you could do a rough kit out of something that would give you exactly what you're looking for honestly not much more than that. Or you could go kind of the further end of the deal, as Darryl said, towards the money pit, which sadly I think is where we're going to be sitting, and really make some investment choices. So that's our overview of some home on wheels options that you can have while you're based here in New Zealand. We haven't covered everything. We haven't covered tiny homes, or haven't covered some of the bigger RVs that are, can be up to $300,000+. Those things exist here, but for us that really neither of those were part of our decision making process, so we didn't want to include them.
Fifth wheel caravans, you haven't mentioned that as well either.
No, they seem to be becoming more and more popular in New Zealand, but we don't have enough experience of those to really comment on. On the next episode, we're going to take you through the options that you can have in New Zealand for a van that would make a really good basis for your custom converted vans. We're going to go check out some vans. We'd love you to come along with us. So that's what the next episode is, and then in the weeks ahead we're going to start getting you ready for our van build. And at some point, we're going to turn the camera back on ourselves with tools in hand and start building the custom van.
Until then, thank you.
Ka kite!